Hey guys, what's up? This is Francisco with Valeriso Capital, and in today's video we're gonna go through the market update. I recently had surgery, so that's why I don't have my webcam on, but the good thing is that we can still do the weekend videos and we can go through the charts with no problems. So let's start here with the UVXY, and remember guys that this video is for informational purposes only, and it's just based on my personal opinion and it's not financial advice. So let's start here with the UVXY. Let's talk about some of the things that are happening right now here in the market. Let me just hide my alerts really quickly here. Let's start here with what's happening in the market. So what I want to talk about first is the UVXY, because I think it's always important to first look at the volatility and kind of what is the hedging, what is the hedging security that most traders and funds use in order to anticipate what is probably going to happen in the market in the future. And I think that the UVXY, which I have it right here, is a great tool to analyze before analyzing the market. So that's kind of the way that I do it. So for anyone who's new to the channel, welcome guys. The indicators that I use are these three indicators right here that you have in the screen. I do use volume, but I do have volume on another screen on my charts. And the most important thing for me is to analyze what is the momentum in whatever stock or index or ETF that I'm looking at. And this indicator right here is the trend oscillator developed by Sam Shames. This indicator right here is the TTM squeeze developed by John Carter. And this indicator right here is just an indicator. This indicator was developed by Reggie Horner, and is an indicator. It's a really simple indicator, that just gives me a visual, kind of a visual indication of what is the current structure of the moving averages. So if I have green dots in that indicator, which is this first indicator right here, that means that the 8 exponential, 13 exponential, and 20 exponential are stacked positively. And we have a bullish trend in price. And then the indicator right here is a momentum structure indicator, which is I find it pretty useful. And whenever we are above 50, that means that we have more of a bullish momentum going on the stock. And then whoever is familiar with the squeeze, basically helps me find momentums in price when we have a very tight consolidation in price, and usually this consolidation precedes an expansion, and the momentum in the oscillator of the squeeze helps me determine what is the probability of the direction of the next expansion in price. So let's get right here into the charts. This is kind of this moment in time is where we have to wait. We have to be very, very patient. The market did make a very interesting move, bullish move on last week, on Friday especially. But we have to remember that this chart right here, this continues to be a bullish chart. And these are the reasons. First of all, you can see right here that we broke above that declining 50 daily moving average. And what happened when we did it, right? We had price coming all the way to that 200 daily moving average, which is the pink line right here. And then what happened is that this 50, you can see that the 50 it was declining and now is rising. So now we're about to pull back into a rising 50 daily moving average. So the expectation whenever we're pulling back into a rising 50 daily moving average is to expect that moving average to act as support. Now, why do I think that this is probably going to be the case? First of all, we have a very important level right here at 11.21. When we have this level, a very important level at 11.21, what I mean is that we have a previous resistance level that then became support. So that confirms that this level is going to be a very important demand level. So there's going to be buyers at this level in terms of price structure. Then we're going to also have another kind of traders that are going to come into this level. And these are the traders that focus on moving averages. We have a rising 50 daily moving average. And then we have momentum traders. And we can see that momentum is also coming into a previous level of support. So I think that we have to take into consideration that the UVXY right now is pulling back, yes, and we're seeing a bullish move in the indexes, but we have to be aware that this pullback right now is coming into support. I do think that we have a little bit more room, right? This is probably somewhere around, let's make that calculation pretty quickly. I think that's somewhere around 8%. So that's a considerable move that we can have in the UVXY. However, based on the things that I'm telling you right now, I think that move is going to come into support. Probably we're going to see some continuation in the indexes to the upside, but we have to be aware of this chart in the UVXY. If the UVXY happens to close below this 11.21 level and then continues to move to the downside, then that's going to be a change in character in the UVXY, and then we can expect something different to happen. If not, this is basically just the UVXY making higher highs and higher lows, and then the expectation will be a continuation in the trend that preceded this decline. So be aware of that. Be very, very aware of that. I think that we have a little bit more space for this bounce to continue, but the UVXY is a very important chart right now that we have to take into consideration. I don't think that we need to look at many things, but let's take a quick look at the indexes. We're going to take a look at the QQQ. We're going to also take a look at the SPY and the DIA as well. These charts are going to look pretty similar, but I think it's important for us to understand what is actually happening. So what we have here, and you can see right here that the momentum is starting to break out above this level of structure of 44.06. That means that we're having a breakout in momentum. However, remember what I told you. If we continue to be below 50, this means that we have more of a bearish tendency in momentum, if you can call it that. So what I'm thinking is that even though we're breaking above this 44.06 level in momentum, I'm expecting that probably we're going to find some resistance around this 51.81 level in momentum. So remember that what I always tell you in this channel is that momentum changes the structure before price, and I don't see any considerable change in a structure in momentum. And let me show you something pretty interesting so that you can understand what I'm trying to tell you here. You can see momentum right here, right? You can see that momentum breaks the 50 level right here, and we have this pretty strong move to the downside. You can see that around this, we of course have some pretty strong moves to the upside in the index as well. But you can see that momentum was just coming into resistance. Even in this day right here, you can see this day right here, we came right into that momentum resistance of a structure. And what happened? We had a pretty strong move to the downside. And most importantly, and something that is pretty important, is that we were below a declining 50 daily moving average. When did we have this pretty substantial rally? We had that substantial rally when we broke above a declining 50 daily moving average and when we broke above the 50 line in momentum. So when that happened, which was this day right here, which is somewhere around right here, when we had that breakout, then that's when we start to have this trend. And you can see that we broke above the 50 line and we had a trend in momentum. And the same happened the other way around. When I get the sell signal, which is this line right here, that's when we break below that 50 line. We had that sell signal, we retested momentum structure, momentum resistance in this case, and we continue to move to the downside. So that's what I'm seeing right here. For me to trust, quote unquote, trust this rally, we need to break above 51.81 in momentum for me to consider that we're going to have a very substantial rally. If not, I think that there's a high probability that we're going to come into this level right here. And remember that the purpose of this channel is to always give you good analysis and levels, and the level that I'm going to give you is 285.62. If price rallies somewhere around these levels right here, and we continue to see that declining 50 catch up with price, I think there's a very high probability that we're going to rally here and then continue to the downside. That's what I'm seeing based on price structure, momentum structure, and also the structure in moving averages. You see that I have red dots right here. that means that I have a bearish structure in my moving averages. That means that my 8 exponential is below my 21 exponential, and that 21 exponential, and that the 8 is below that 13 exponential, and that 13 is below the 21. So we have bearish structure in moving averages, bearish structure in momentum, bearish structure in price. So we have to be careful here. Yes, we had a pretty strong move, up 2.34% in the QQQs on Friday, but remember that this, even if we continue to hold 269.28, this for now is just a bounce into resistance before a continuation to the downside. So be very, very nimble playing this, and be very aware of that declining 50 daily moving average, which is the purple line on my chart. And if we take a look pretty quickly between the SPY and the DIA, let's take a look pretty quickly at those charts, and these are basically the same. So let's try not to repeat the same things. We have the same things in the charts. So what is my expectation here in the SPY? Same thing, right? The level that I'm gonna give you is gonna be 388.42, which comes right at that 50 declining 50 daily moving average. So any rally that we have into here, we have to be aware that that might be a resistance level before the indexes pull back at least back to 362.17. If not, they're gonna break lower. So be very, very aware of that. Based on momentum structure, based on price structure, based on the structure of the moving averages, this continues to be a downtrend. So be very, very aware of that. And then if we take a look at the DIA, I think actually that the DIA is kind of leading here. You can see that the DIA is showing something different. So this is kind of the bright spot for the bulls, if you can say that. You can see that momentum is already trying to break above that midline. So that's actually pretty encouraging for the bulls. And you can see that we're right at that level of resistance, which is 310.93. And we're also at a 50 daily moving average. So this one is a pretty interesting spot for the DIA. Of course, I consider the QQQ and the SPY to be more important ETFs, just on the way that I see it. But if we happen to see any changes in structure in those indexes, then perhaps we can focus on the DIA for any kind of leading signals here, because right now it is leading. So not out of the woods yet for the bulls, but this is actually starting to show some pretty encouraging price action and momentum structure. So this is going to be kind of the bright spot that I'm going to give you in terms of the indexes. And then I don't think that we have to look at anything else, to be honest, guys. Most of the things look like the same, right? We can take a look at Apple, Amazon, Tesla, all those names. But I think right now that we have to focus on the indexes. There are some leading stocks out there that we can talk about. However, remember that somewhere around 80 to 85% of the stocks move with the general markets. So if you wanna stack the probabilities on your side, I think it's really important to see the indexes price action before we take into consideration any long positions, because indexes continue to be below declining 50 daily moving averages. So we have to be really aware of that. And then if we take a quick look, let's take a quick look at the net highs and net lows. You can see that even though here's the Nasdaq Composite, even though the Nasdaq Composite had a somewhere around plus 2.31% update, which is pretty encouraging because we're starting to hold the June lows, net lows versus net highs, you can see that we continue to have net lows in the charts. So not out of the woods for the bulls yet. I do think that we might have a pretty considerable rally. Let's call it in the Nasdaq Composite somewhere around 11,250. But if this doesn't change, right, if we don't see more stocks making new highs, if we don't see considerable changes in momentum, I think that this is probably just a rally into resistance before a continuation lower. Now, how lower? I don't know. And how high? we kind of have some indications, right? Be very aware of that decline in 50, because that decline in 50 tends to act as resistance. So I think that's it for the video, guys. I don't see anything else very relevant to show you. I don't think that we just have to make a video longer because we want to. I think that I already show you the important things that I'm looking in the market, which is the UVXY. I think this is a very important chart. So keep this one in mind. Above 11.21 continues to be bullish. Below it, then we can reassess our analysis and adapt with the market. So once again, thank you so much, guys, for watching. I'm pretty sure that this video was pretty helpful, and I will see you on future videos, guys. Remember to like and subscribe, and also subscribe to my Twitter account. Follow me on my Twitter account, which is @Valareso_Capital, and in that account I show a lot of setups and a lot of analysis on a day-to-day basis. So thank you and take care. Bye bye.